Good afternoon. Welcome to News Hour live on GBC News and on GTV. Also streaming live on Facebook and on YouTube at Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. We do apologize for the late start of the news. My name is Samuela Korte. Now the news in detail. Some customers of telecommunication networks operating in the country are calling on the government to extend the period for the SIM card re-registration exercise. Various centers of the telecommunication companies have witnessed long queues as customers are raising against time to link their Ghana cards to their SIM cards. This is because the government has set March 31, 2022 as a deadline for the re-registration. The long queues have also been attributed to the limited number of branches of the telcos for the exercise. Our reporter Celestina V has been monitoring events at some registration centers and comes through with this report. 3
days. First day I'm about to be as and room is here. Maybe 3 days ago, maybe have 7:30 to 8. And the maybe have a deal and room is here. And so now say Osami Kwejuma. The media hokoe. It's hard when Abani said I think say at 8 here. Almost a deadline here. I'm saying March.
The network is not effective, so they must do something on the network.
Yeah, I've been coming to MTL like 3 days now before I can register my SIM to my Ghana card.
From what I'm seeing here, the queue is so long, and some people have been here from dawn until it's now from 4 a.m. and now it's 10 a.m. and they are still not gotten any headway to their registration.
About 3 days ago, I buy no musi network ni nyejuma. And then my sorry how much 3 a.m. And no crap me ba no kra na me suro. Nti me hu guys bi mobile na me di omochi na e di America buy. Ya buy abetena se up to now musi network ni still nyejuma. Me so me kwa adwuma me wo afternoon me konsa wam ton. By this time I be seen the me nya time na metumi aye. Se me wonder say me delay ana me man kwa adwuma na e pamo me a. Bejuma shiri minti yesra ban say adiwe on shena on ye won bibi e maye na ye brepa.
Tertiary network is not all that good. That's why we have to move to this place. So I feel this place is even much better than there because there have been days, 3 days, and network was very poor.
From Anapa Yaba Hanun say till now, I bejina Hanun say. Ya jina so sa up to now. Ya dasu jina so. And penny for womb and crow, a yari for womb, or muninaginary because of Ghana card. No seat. This is the only seat I'm more hassy for the customers. No shades. And we are standing on this Kochi sun. Why?
My problem is that whoever is the source of this program should have taken the masses into consideration. Now look at how we are all here. And meanwhile, they are complaining that there is coronavirus. So this is a very fertile ground for what?
Now, the National Identification Authority has suspended card replacement services at its headquarters. The suspension took effect on Wednesday, January 5, 2022, and would be lifted on January 17, 2022. A statement signed and issued by Mr. Abdul Ganiyu, acting head of corporate affairs of the NIA, asked applicants seeking to replace their cards to take note of the development. The authority, mandated to issue national identification cards, did not indicate the reason for the suspension. The NIA in November last year ramped up efforts to get more Ghanaians registered onto its database, opening and operationalizing 16 regional and 275 district offices across the country. Now, Ghana has assumed a 2-year term on the UN Security Council. The country joins 4 others on the council, which holds regular meetings to address threats to international peace and security and makes the ultimate decisions on resolutions to impose sanctions, authorize the use of military force, and launch peacekeeping missions. Joining us to throw more light on the development is a senior lecturer at the University of Education, Winneba, Dr. Vincent Ajali Mensah. Hello, good afternoon, Doc.
Good afternoon.
Doc, this is the 3rd time Ghana is joining other countries on the UN Council. What do you think may have qualified Ghana to occupy this seat?
Well, thank you. I think Ghana was once on the Security Council when Nanato used to be the foreign minister. So I think that is important to note. But the present situation is a bit more different because the current world dynamics that we have are such that for the countries to be selected as part of the countries on the Security Council is such an honor. But you should note that Ghana has a lot of history behind us as the first countries south of the Sahara to have independence. The inspiration that Kwame Nkrumah and co provided to the African liberation movement and the various presidents that have led Ghana have all tried to put Ghana on the international map and to make us look like a very important country that operates from Africa. So yes, Ghana has a lot of significance, and Ghana has contributed a lot to international peacekeeping from the Congo to Burma to all other places. So we have proven that we are a country that can be trusted when we are talking about contributions to global peace and the collective security architecture.
What would be Ghana's specific role on the council?
Ghana will not have a specific role, but Ghana will be part of the countries that will be making decisions on the council. Of course, Ghana will not be as significant as members, the US, Russia, China, Great Britain, France, and the rest. But of course, we are a country that will be relied upon for a lot of information as to the situation in third world countries and developing countries in general. So Ghana will be looked at by a lot of other countries in the developing world to represent their interests and to table their security concerns and how decisions that are made in terms of the nuclear non-proliferation treaty and other international security decisions that affect them. So a lot of lobbying will be done, and the Minister of Foreign Affairs will have to raise herself up and the ministry up for a lot of diplomatic activities. So countries such as Iran, Iraq, Syria will be lobbying Ghana now, Kazakhstan, Afghanistan, and the rest will be lobbying Ghana to represent their interests on the Security Council. So it's going to be an active diplomatic year for Ghana, 2022-2023. Even the developed countries, US and the rest, will be trying to lobby Ghana to support a lot of the security decisions and proposals they will be making on the Security Council. So it's going to be a busy period for the diplomatic group in Ghana.
Doc, being on the council, are there some specific things that Ghana ought to be careful about?
A number of things. The number one thing is that you will be lobbied by all kinds of interests, and I hope that the Minister of Foreign Affairs is experienced for that. Aside from that, you should know that a lot of the big powers, you will become closer to begin to lobby you and try to influence you to support certain decisions, some that can be very detrimental to your relationship with other countries. So it's something that Ghana is prepare itself for. I am sure that the intervening period we had before now to listen to expert advice, guidance, and to study the global dynamics, see the interests and values that third countries are interested in and how they conduct their policies, understand the international trade system, and then the ways in which various countries are using the international trade sector to achieve their interests. You know, North Korea is still on the table. They just fired a missile this week. So all those are going to be issues that and we need to be careful of decisions we make. There were some in the past that really affected our interests, like when Ghana voted to support American invasion of Iraq. It had consequences for us, although it also gave us benefits.
Sir, thank you very much. That was a senior lecturer at the University of Education, Winneba, Dr. Vincent Ajali Mensah. Now, moving on, the Attorney General's Department has denied accusations by a former Minister of Finance, Dr. Kaysel Atuforsen, that a criminal case against him is politically motivated. On December 23, 2021, the Attorney General filed criminal charges against Dr. Forsen, Member of Parliament for Ejumako Enyan Esien, and the ranking member of the Finance Committee of Parliament for allegedly causing financial loss of 2.37 million euros to the state in a deal to purchase some 200 ambulances for the country between 2014 and 2016.
The Member of Parliament, reacting to the issues at a news conference on December 24, 2021, said the charges were frivolous and politically motivated attempt to silence him from performing his legislative role in scrutinizing the 2022 budget. The Office of the Attorney General said Dr. Atuforsen's linkage of the prosecution against him to the 2022 budget in Parliament was absurd and misleading. In a statement signed by Deputy Attorney General Ms. Diana Asunaba Dapa, the AG explained that investigations into the alleged financial crimes in the purchase of the ambulances commenced in 2017 and has nothing to do with the 2022 budget. The statement stated the investigations had been ongoing since 2017, with a number of statements taken from various persons at different points in time, including Mr. Alban Babi, former Minister of Health, now Speaker of Parliament, Mr. Kwekwa Jiman Mensah, Madam Sherry Aite, and Dr. Alex Segbefia, all former Ministers of Health, as well as the first accused. At that time, no issue related to the 2022 budget and economic policy of the government had either come up or was contemplated. The AG explained that the investigations reached its peak in June 2021, with the Criminal Investigations Department of the Ghana Police Service starting criminal proceedings against some individuals for prosecution by the AG. Dr. Kaysel Atuforsen was charged together with Mr. Sylvester Animana, a former Chief Director of the Ministry of Health, and Mr. Richard Japa, a businessman. Together, the three are facing 5 counts of willfully causing financial loss to the state, abetment to willfully cause financial loss to the state, contravention of the Public Procurement Act, and internationally misapplying public property.
Now, the Ashanti region has recorded 2 new cases of bird flu in 2 major poultry farms. A total of 18,000 birds in 2 separate poultry farms are to be destroyed to prevent the spread of the disease in and around nearby farms. Meanwhile, 10,000 birds have been quarantined, waiting depopulation at the affected farms in Oforikrom and Echima in Ponua district, respectively. The Ashanti Regional Director of the Veterinary Services, Dr. Malon Mensah, who spoke to GBC News on this development, blamed lack of strict biosecurity by farmers as a major cause of the outbreak. He said his office has just completed arrangements to get certificates of the 22 farms that have already been destroyed for compensation to be paid by government. The Ministry of Interior says it is committed to the development-centered leadership of the Ghana National Fire Service and will continue to provide the personnel with training and the equipment needed for them to effectively deliver fire and rescue services. In this direction, government has given approval for the recruitment of 2,000 personnel into the service to augment the manpower needs of the service. The Deputy Minister for the Interior, Nana Kwanzaa, disclosed this at a passing out ceremony of the Ghana National Fire Service. In all, 370 officers cadets graduated from the National Fire Service Academy. They comprised 228 males and 142 females from the various regions across the country. The training program was tailored to expose the officer cadets to managerial skills and other tenets of officership required at the Senior Officer Corps or the Ghana National Fire Service. These officership skills and concepts were delivered across subjects such as public speaking and media relations, public finance, and organizational behavior. The Deputy Minister for the Interior, Nana Kwanzaa, said the demand for safety has become vital in the daily lives of mankind. Thus, the role of the fire service is so important in the day-to-day activities of the populace. She said globalization has led to rapid technological advancement, and the Ghana National Fire Service should not allow itself to be left behind. In view of this, government is helping to upgrade facilities at the training school and would help put up new fire academy and training schools at Dayao in Kwanta in the Bono region, Chebi in the eastern region, Ejura in the Ashanti region, and Mion in the northern region.
To meet this new development, it is important that your training programs take notice of new concepts relating to fire prevention and management, and ensure that appropriate training is provided not only to the cadets but also to all other personnel in the service.
She urged the graduates to take care of one another and of those under their command, and as well keep the values they have acquired. Some of the award winners spoke to GBC News.
I would say we didn't encounter so many challenges. The only thing I will talk about is we would need more infrastructure.
The course was a very unique course, very challenging and very educative. It's something that has lifted us to a standard of a quality fireman, and it has made us know that there's more room for improvement.
Agribusiness is seen as the panacea to youth unemployment in the country. The Bono East Regional Minister, Mr. Kwesi Edujan, holds the view that with the appropriate technologies in place and the right environment, more of the country's youth will venture into agriculture.
Agriculture is key to Ghana's economic development. Getting the youth to develop an interest in it remains a challenge due to a variety of factors. Mr. Kwesi Edujan believes this can change with the right environment.
The only solution to our unemployment is creating jobs through agriculture. I think the youth, they like agriculture. They want to be gainfully employed. The reason why they don't like agriculture, or we assume they don't like agriculture, is that the fact is that makes agriculture effective business. At times it's non-existent. A youth would want that after he has embarked on an activity, there is market for the activity, or he gets reward for the activity that he has embarked on. Okay. So if he gets into farming, and at the end of the farming he's struggling to sell his or her produce, definitely it will not become attractive to him or her. And even getting capital to enter into farming, it's not easy.
The Kruntihine of Kintampo, Nana Owusu Pinkra, on his part, wants a critical look at our educational system.
If we free schools mo, the pen or man mo, and yet they say school mo. Yeah, I quite say, chew poor pass forget. And no, you find the next generation. And your present education system. No. Maybe advocate say yemma region biano peculiar to that region and raw more syllabus. Yeah, answer will be free. Sa region at the end of the year. No nim de okwakoye.
Many hold the view that Ghana will achieve economic empowerment and reduce youth unemployment if these two areas receive the necessary attention. Peggy Amadonko reporting.
Now we go to the presidency, where a service to usher the government of President Akufo-Addo into the hands of God in the new year has been held at the Jubilee House in Accra. Leading the service, the Archbishop Cyril Ben Smith advised the government and the people of Ghana to launch into the deep things of God in order to harness the potential of the people of the country for accelerated economic development. Edward Nyako report.
Praise the Lord, with cymbals sounding strong. Oh, praise the Lord, with cymbals sounding strong. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
It was a serene and captivating moment when the first presidential New Year service was held at the seat of government in Accra. The drive was to acknowledge that the battle to steer the affairs of Ghana onto a safer and prosperous waters is still the Lord's, despite the storms of COVID-19. The service, which was led by the House of Bishops by the Anglican Church in Ghana, was attended by President Akufo-Addo, the First Lady Rebecca Akufo-Addo and their children, Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia and the Chief of Staff, Madam Akosia Fremont-Seopare. And to Archbishop Dr. Ben Cyril Smith, the challenges associated with the pandemic can best be tackled when government and the people of Ghana delve deep into the Word of God to seek for wisdom at all times.
Your Excellencies, we have started this new year. And we believe that this service would usher us in deeper into the favor and the love of God. We recall with pleasure and gratitude to God in 2019, 2020, when the COVID came and Your Excellency, the President, called upon the whole nation to pray. And that made a lot of difference for us.
President Akufo-Addo thanked the clergy for the support and was upbeat that despite the challenges, God will see the nation through.
Who have to work in very difficult circumstances, but who, because of our belief in the presence, the constant and eternal presence of the Almighty, are fortified by our belief, are fortified in our knowledge that at all times He is with us and will never forsake us.
Intercession was made for the President and his family, members of government and the nation. The presidential New Year service coincided with the celebration of the Day of Epiphany, which falls on January 6 on the calendar of the Anglican Church, which is the Day of Revelation. Edward Nyako, reporting for GBC News.
The mobilization of rural entrepreneurial women, popularly known as More Women, has launched a straw basket weaving project to empower vulnerable women, teenage mothers and the youth in 3 communities in the Katsina Nankana West District of the Upper East region. The communities include Kadenga, Merigu and Nambango.
Basket weaving as an art and a vocation has been with the people of the Upper East region, particularly the women, the reason why they have become known as the Bolgatanga baskets. Basket weaving serves as a major source of income for households in the region. The main raw material, the Veta Vera straw, is harvested from grass stalk and each piece is split into 2. It is then twisted tightly and rolled back together to give it strength and then dyed in boiling water for use. Weaving starts at the base and works up to the rim and is wrapped to form a tube-like edge, and finally, leather handles are skillfully fixed on it by local leather workers for the final consumer. More Women is a social entrepreneurial basket producing company in Ghana that focuses on empowering vulnerable women, teenage mothers and the youth in rural communities. The chief executive of Mobilization of Rural Entrepreneurial Women, popularly known as More Women, Madame Celestina Azuri, spoke with GBC News.
This is a program that is aimed at alleviating poverty amongst rural folks, especially women and vulnerable folks, by training them in basket weaving and then looking for opportunities to sell them internationally and locally.
The Upper East basket market is undoubtedly booming in and outside Ghana. Some of the traders say it is better for Ghanaians to use the type of basket instead of polythene bags in their daily shopping. In 2017, Ghana exported roughly $800,000 worth of baskets to countries such as Australia, the UK, US and New Zealand.
Now, at Abeosika in the Western region, residents are unhappy about the slow pace of development in their side of town. They say some basic needs such as quality education, hospital facilities and proper sanitation are almost non-existent in their community. Youth unemployment is also high, making life unbearable to them. Biatchs Synergy brings us more.
In the heart of the Western region lies Abeosika, a coastal town in the Nzema East Municipal District. Abeosika literally means you have worked for your money. The historical account of the origins of the people is that they migrated from Kanka and Mori, both in the central region, and settled at their present location. For over 10 decades, residents' mainstay has been fishing. This is their story.
This place used to be a thicket, so our ancestors settled here and worked for a while. They became very rich, which encouraged others from Ovri and Kanka to join in them to work. They acquired lands and finally settled here.
Na papa bi be ba cha hwanda awa asaso ho so butu wo bukwanu na watena ho na mpaso adwon kwa asaso no do na chero ye.
There was not much activity at the time of our visit, but it was evident that sanitation was not the best. The seashore too was filthy and the people defecate in the open. The residents complain that this causes diseases including cholera and malaria.
We don't have a refuse dump, so anytime our men sweep, they dump the refuse at the shore. The shore is no longer attractive and hygienic. We need a refuse container here.
With majority of the people being fishermen, they worry about the high levels of poverty in the town, especially from the low catch on every fishing expedition. They say this has affected their living standards.
The oil exploration activities on the sea is affecting us.
when we go fishing, we hardly get good catch.
Apelsika has a population of over 1,000. The indigents are unhappy about the high unemployment rate among the youth. As a result, some have migrated to nearby towns and cities in search of non-existent white-collar jobs. Most of the youth are unable to further their education due to financial constraints. The few who are fishermen are gradually losing interest in the fishing business.
We had jobs in the days of Kwame Nkrumah, but now things have changed. Our children find it difficult getting jobs. We need help.
The prices of expensive goods should be reduced for us. We also need potable water here to make life better for us.
There were other issues.
We need scholarships for our brilliant students. The scholarships are often given to people who are already financially endowed, which is not good.
Things are expensive in recent times. We plead for jobs to enable us to cater for our children, so they too can help us when we are old.
Residents of Apelsika are sending a plea to the government to help raise their living standards. They are calling for infrastructural and human development within their locality so that they can also have a slice of the proverbial national cake. High on their wish list is for government to ensure that premix fuel is properly regulated, discounted and sold directly to the fishermen to avoid overpricing of the commodity. On sanitation, the people have appealed to organizations and philanthropists for help with the provision of refuse containers. Biatchs Synergy, GBC News.
A resident of Anyakpo, a farming community in the Ada East district of the Greater Accra region, Madam Vida Yetiokpo, is appealing for support to enable her 15-year-old son, Ruben Kunyabo, undergo treatment for spinal injury. According to her, her son suffered the spinal injury after he accidentally fell from a coconut tree, and that has rendered him immobile in his limbs. She disclosed to GBC News that her son's situation has drained all her financial resources.
Ruben Kunyabo is a Class 4 pupil who has been out of school for over 5 months. Recounting the story, the distraught mother, Vida Yetiokpo, said the son accidentally fell from a coconut tree and hit his waist against a Borasos palm tree. He developed a spinal injury as a result.
Yabi Ruben Kunyabo, enga school yanga aiskeuno malalata school. Enga P4. Ruben nyagba yeseva for bahinyale ibaje. Kolone bajane ne walokwo. Ekpa school. He has
been bedridden since then. He can barely do anything without assistance.
I can't move my limbs. Please help me to get better.
They discontinued treatment at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital because of lack of funds. Madam Vida Yetiokpo, who raised ducks for sale, said she has sold all her ducks because of the financial burden and now lives at the mercy of the public. She is reaching out to donors to raise funds to resume treatment.
I already lost 2 of my 6 children and wouldn't want to lose another. I don't have any sources of funding than to appeal for help.
Alo 1 CD. Emi wahami. Inne no ko inge walo la na ata no ko he. Alo ma une ta no ko twi. Ne eba wa mi ne ye bi Ruben kunya bo ne etesi mi ne ma obi mi. Ko le inge pe pa ha Ghana makla awa mi. Ye bi Ruben kunya bo ne etesi mi.
Ruben Kunyabo further appealed to churches and individuals for support to enable him to get back on his feet and resume schooling. Donations can be sent to mobile money number 0240-526-019 with account name Biatchs Synergy.
Hello, it's time for business with me, Esther Aidu Ohumeu. The Ghana Statistical Service has commenced the annual household and income expenditure survey for selected households in the country. The survey is to obtain data to estimate quarterly and annual household final consumption expenditure to support the compilation of quarterly and annual GDP by the expenditure approach. Outcomes of the annual household and income expenditure survey exercise include the rebasing of the GDP, the generation of data to support monitoring of targets under 12 out of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and continuous provision of indicators on the welfare of persons in Ghana. The funding for the survey is a World Bank loan to the government of Ghana. The survey will provide important data on labor and welfare mobility to better understand some of the dynamics in the labor market and how households move in and out of poverty. Some of the key macroeconomic indicators to be generated from the survey include quarterly GDP, regional GDP, quarterly unemployment, graduate unemployment, underemployment, inequality, growth elasticity of poverty, consumption expenditure poverty, and multidimensional poverty. The service is therefore appealing to all selected households to accept and provide the needed assistance and volunteer the required information to the field officers for national development outcomes. The survey was launched following a 2-day virtual and 17 days face-to-face training of 280 field officers. The Social Security and National Insurance Trust (SNIT) has extended the deadline for members of the scheme to merge their SNIT and NIA numbers from 31st December 2021 to 30th June 2022. Members who are yet to register for their Ghana cards have been entreated to do so in order to merge their SNIT and NIA numbers before 30th June 2022. From 1st July 2022, the Ghana card will be the only identification recognized by the Trust. This is in compliance with regulation of the National Identity Register regulations, which requires the use of the Ghana card as identification for transactions pertaining to individuals in respect of pensions and transactions that have social security implications. According to SNIT, voluntary contributors will also have to pay their contributions using their NIA numbers. Members who are yet to merge their numbers should dial *711*9# and follow the prompts. Alternatively, members may log onto the SNIT website and follow the instructions to merge their numbers. According to SNIT, members can also visit the nearest SNIT branch with their Ghana cards, valid email addresses and phone numbers to have the merger done. Once the merger of the SNIT and NIA numbers is complete, members can then use their Ghana cards to transact business with the trust. New joiners to the SNIT scheme are entreated to provide their Ghana cards as identification to enroll onto the scheme. Management urges all members of the scheme to ensure that their numbers are merged to enjoy the convenience and comfort of using only one card, the Ghana card, for all transactions with the trust. The trust reminds the public that members who fail to merge their SNIT and NIA numbers will be denying themselves access to pensions and other social security-related services from SNIT. The Social Security and National Insurance Trust says there will be no further extension beyond the 30th June 2022 deadline. Let's see how the Forex and Commodity Boards fared for the day.